Traditions and stuff and things. Hey, let's consider how our traditions affect our life and how artists address traditions through their art. Later on, I'm going to ask, how can you make art that addresses the tradition? So I'm going to show you some traditions and some art, and I want you to think about what are some common traditions that affect us every day, and how is the art part of the tradition? Let's just jump right in. This is Halloween, right? You know it's Halloween right away. Well, actually, this is works of art. This is a jack-o'-lantern, and it's like someone walked into the woods and just grabbed the pumpkin and then decided to carve a portrait into it. And that's crazy when you think about it, but really it's a piece of artwork. It's like a little sculpture. And if you look at the people on the other side, they were dressed up in a costume. Well, people like to dress up in costumes at Halloween. It's a tradition. But making costumes is actually a form of art, like fashion design. This painting of this cat with a pumpkin on its head, you know right away it's celebrating the tradition of Halloween, even though it's a cat with a pumpkin. You just put those two things together and you know it. And on the right, there's some little spiders that are like made out like pops, like lollipops, but it's like a craft. Someone had to put those together. That's like a form of art. Even though giving out candy at Halloween is traditional, they're celebrating that tradition through the art. How crazy is that? Look at the painting on the right. It's a traditional painting by Norman Rockwell of the tradition of, it's Thanksgiving, because she's got the turkey and the family's there and they're all smiling because all families smile on Thanksgiving. That's how you know it's Thanksgiving. Well, we have traditions in my family. The picture on the right is of the Macy's Day Parade. And my wife likes us to watch the Macy's Day Parade every Thanksgiving. We put it on. And Pikachu's in the parade. And that's so cool. That's a great way to celebrate tradition. Another thing that happens around Thanksgiving is we like to put up our Christmas tree. And my wife always makes us watch these two movies, Four Christmases, which is relatively funny, and Elf. Now look at that picture. You know it's about Elf if you've ever seen the movie, even though it doesn't show Elf. Well, not everybody celebrates Christmas, and that's fine. But there are still traditions for other holidays that happen right around the same time, like Hanukkah. They have the dreidel. They spin the dreidel. They play games with that. They light the menorah. These are all traditions, and these are probably cards. Maybe people give out like the Hanukkah cards. You give out Christmas cards too. Matter of fact, we give out all kinds of cards. It's part of the tradition, and cards is a form of art. Like you have to design the artwork for those cards. At New Year's, we have the tradition of New York City, at least, of dropping the ball. They drop the big ball with all the lights on it, and that's the picture to the left. It's an old picture, but that's what it is. Now, Mount Olive, North Carolina, makes pickles. Did you know that? If you ever pick up a jar of pickles and you look at it, they're made right here in North Carolina. Well, they drop a big pickle on New Year's Eve. How crazy is that? Well, someone had to design that pickle. It's like a form of art. It's a sculpture. It's a tradition to drop the pickle in Mount Olive, and the artist celebrated it by making that pickle. It's just crazy. Now, look, you know right away what tradition this is, because you're going to sing a song that goes with it, and you're going to light candles, and then you're going to blow those candles out. Well, maybe not, because you got your mask on. But anyway, somebody had to make those candles. That's a form of art. And someone had to decorate that cake, and that's a form of art too. All this art ties into all these traditions. We eat cake for lots of reasons. What about wedding cakes? Weddings have lots of traditions. Someone had to make that cake. That's a tradition. And she's going to throw that bouquet of flowers. That's a tradition. But someone had to put together that bouquet of flowers. An artist arranged the colors and everything so they'd match her dress, which is white. That's why they put white flowers in there. Anyway, an artist did all that. And then, of course, they take that cake that the person spent so much time making and they smash it into each other's face. But that's a tradition. You can see how art ties into traditions. Even silly stuff. The Stanley Cup. Do you know that when hockey players get into the playoffs, they don't shave? It's a tradition not to shave. That's why these guys have all these furry faces on right here. And here's a tradition that's personal to me. I used to go hunting all the time with my son. This is a painting by Rodney Kirby, by the way, if you didn't know. And that's the buck I probably would have caught if I went hunting this year, but I haven't gone yet. Anyway, the tradition we had was opening day, when we went hunting, we'd always bring a box of apple pastries with us, like those ones right there on the right. And that was our tradition. And that artwork right there of the deer running is a painting an artist did. So you can see the art and the tradition and everything goes together so well. So what you've got one more tradition coming up at some point. Hopefully you are going to graduate this school, and as a tradition, you will wear a cap and gown, and you can decorate your cap and gown. Another tradition, more art. How crazy is that? So I want you for this week to select a tradition that you celebrate, and then I want you to create a work of art that celebrates that tradition in any way you want. It's up to you. Okay, let's go. Make the art.